Our school's theme is urban studies and community development. So the students are right now from first grade, or I guess really kinder through fifth, are engaged in developing their fall project-based learning theme under the umbrella of urban studies and community development. Each grade level is developing PBL based on their theme. Everything from in kinder, our community, by starting with ourselves, the classrooms to the school. In first grade, they will be having a walking tour of our community, identifying businesses that are assets as well as liabilities to our community.
Welcome to the podcast, listeners. My name is Shreya, and I'll be the host for this podcast today. Today, we're joined by David Garringer, principal of Chatsworth Park Elementary School in Los Angeles Unified School District. Under his leadership, Chatsworth Park has become a model for integrating STEM, urban planning, and community development into K-5 education. David is known for balancing instructional rigor with hands-on real-world learning. In this conversation, we'll explore his journey, his visions on STEM and STEAM in public education, and how innovation, including the use of AI, can transform learning for the next generation. Welcome to the podcast, David. How are you doing today?
Great, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we are really happy to have you here with us. So we'd love to start this discussion with your journey. So what inspired you to join education, and are those reasons still the same today?
Well, as over 25 years experience, we all hopefully grow in different areas. Mm-hmm. My experience, what made me join education was I had aunts and uncles who were involved in education back in Ohio. Mm-hmm. When I moved from Ohio to California in 1996, I was basically looking at a career change. So in 99, 2000, I enrolled for Tier 1 teaching program at Cal Lutheran, which is in Thousand Oaks, California. And eventually I was able to get hired in July of 2000 with the Los Angeles Unified School District, which is based out of the Los Angeles area. And I've been with them since basically 2000 to today.
That is a really long time. And then I would love to know a little about how your journey has been all this while.
Absolutely. I worked at several different elementary schools in and around northwest part of Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. I've worked in different positions, including a classroom teacher at different grade levels, out of classroom positions, including categorical programs coordinator, Title I coordinator, intervention coordinator. Eventually, I was able to assume the position of an assistant principal. And then in 2001, I became the principal of Chatsworth Park Urban Planning and Community Development Magnet School in Chatsworth, California.
So that is quite a journey. And then I think you've made your way through all the different positions that exist in this education system. So I'd love to know that, so Chatsworth Park, yes, is both a magnet school and a part of LAUSD. How do you balance maintaining a unique identity while also aligning with such a large district's strategic priorities?
That's a very good question. All things we try to do is with the foundation of the LAUSD district's strategic priorities as the base, mm-hmm. High quality instruction, reaching out to community, providing strong SEL or social emotional learning for all of our students. One of the items that I really believe in strongly is standards-based, aligned, hands-on activities through activities such as project-based learning. Another important priority for me is engagement. I've had opportunities to see classrooms where students are engaged and not necessarily engaged to the level that they can be. When students are engaged, it greatly reduces academic, how can I say this, behavior concerns. As students are engaged, and adults too, The difference for adults, we have greater self-regulation skills as opposed to students that are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. When they start getting bored, they will find things to keep themselves busy. So their self-regulation skills have not matured to the point where they can balance themselves. So I try to bring programs to the school so they have enriching experiences as well as engaging experiences.
That sounds lovely, and I think targeting that fact that children can be a little distracted at times, I think that is a lovely perspective to have. But many districts talk about rigor but struggle to balance it with the joy of learning. So, how have you approached instructional rigor in STEM while keeping students engaged and excited about it?
Well, we've been fortunate that our school's theme is urban studies and community development. So the students are right now, from first grade, well, I guess really kinder through fifth, are engaged in developing their fall project-based learning theme under the umbrella of urban studies and community development. Each grade level is developing PBL based on their theme. Everything from in kinder, our community, by starting with ourselves, the classrooms to the school. In first grade, they will be having a walking tour of our community, identifying businesses that are assets as well as liabilities to our community, all the way to fourth, where they're studying natural disasters, to fifth grade. In fourth, which I saw recently, we are in a fire area. So what if there is another wildfire in our area and we have to relocate or evacuate the school? Where will they go? How and what can we do to mitigate natural disasters in our area? As far that is on the project-based, a real world theme. Also, I've been bringing fifth graders all working on a sustainable. They've identified a plot of land in our area that's not being utilized. They are using multiple platforms, including Minecraft education, to build their creativity as well as their collaboration, as well as their critical thinking skills, and building basically a virtual house or park on that vacant part of land that is also aligned to the UN SDGs. For the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals.
And I think that sort of hands-on learning does stick with students a lot more than the regular textbook learning. So I think that is, yeah.
Additionally, we are going to start we call it Saturday STEAM enrichments in October and November. Okay. So it is a rotational program. We have competitive VEX IQ teams for grades 4 and 5. They are building they're currently designing and building their VEX IQ robots to compete in some local in a local league. They have several scrimmages with finals in the spring and winter time. So once a month, they take the robot and they scrimmage with other community schools. And as they continue to learn to build their coding, their engineering design notebook, following the 5E model, and then of course that really builds their engagement and also connects with the parents, because they are responsible for bringing the students and assisting them, but guiding, not doing for them.
And I think that is a really cool thing. I mean, I've not heard something like this before. So yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I'm sorry. Were you saying something?
Yes. For Saturday STEAM enrichments, we are developing a rotational program. So all kids that can attend for K through 5 on a first come, first served basis, rotate around. So our K1 students will be introduction to engineering, introduction to coding, introduction to robotics. Our second grade students will have like a hands-on art-related activities, still reliant to our theme. Our third and fourth graders will continue their coding, and some of our other students will start building and living in the virtual world of either SketchUp, Tinkercad, and or Minecraft education.
And I think beyond academics, I would love to know, how does your school offer electives or any universal sort of courses, programs that all student participates in and that supports their creativity and like problem solving?
Well, we don't really have electives to say because we're a self-contained classroom. Okay, so usually a core day is ELA, mathematics, music, art in the afternoons. But some of the upper grades have been incorporating what they call Freedom Choice Fridays. So they lay out an opportunity. You can engage in a program called Makey Makey, where they actually authentically learn about circuitry and what is conductive, what is not conductive. Then they can code it on a platform, and they can take all kinds of anything basically that is conductive and make musical tones out of it. Some other ones use parts of I'm drawing like a musical program where they can do coding and build their own scores. We have again the coding using Scratch, coding versus VR coding, and we're starting to dabble a little bit into the AI world too. Now, as far as rigor, that is a struggle. That is a balance. We just recently had a staff professional development on the DOK levels defined by Webb. DOK 1 from just basic knowledge all the way to 4 application. So we know that part of the United States end of year summative assessment, which measures how a school is progressing in math and ELA. There's in the upper grades, a lot of high DOK multi-step problems, especially in literacy. That is one of our school's focus is not going beyond algorithms, but actually mathematical applications and solving multi-step problems, be able to dissect problems, find and then work backwards to solve the problem based on so it would be and then be able to articulate it.
And I heard you talk about AI. So you've written about integrating generative AI thoughtfully into teaching. So at an elementary level, where do you see AI genuinely enhancing learning, and where do you draw your guardrails at?
Well, that is a very unique problem. Right now, I will say our teachers are primarily using AI to create lessons. They are also using AI to create rubrics based on standards-based activities. They can, as you can know, they can run it several times to tailor the rubric and the criteria to the project they are trying to have the students engage in. There is right now, if students are 13 years or older in the school district, they do go through a small training session. They do have access to ChatGPT. That is a district policy as long as they don't violate those guidelines. Currently, right now, there is no IOC or guidelines for AI in elementary. However, we have computer science coming up soon, the hour of code, and as I'm piloting or having a couple teachers pioneer AI through Minecraft, so they can. So we'll see how that turns out.
And I think I love the way that you are integrating AI, and then the whole Minecraft thing is just really amazing. Another question is that if LAUSD gave you the green light for one bold technology experiment tomorrow, what AI or digital innovation would you want to pilot first at Chatsworth Park, apart from the Minecraft thing?
Probably a deeper we use Magic School AI
Okay.
some. Okay. Besides Minecraft that is a gigantic undertaking upon itself. So we're having two through the Instructional Technology Initiative, and as part of our Saturday STEAM enrichment, we're having computer science for good clubs as well as esports clubs. So where I would right now, you have to be 13 years or older to participate in some of the esports clubs. They are looking into the possibility of having great upper elementary implemented secure architecture to do some esports. That's probably one thing that I think is many people do not understand the benefits of it. There's a high school very close to us. They've had colleges offering them scholarships based on how they perform at state level and national level esports competitions.
Perfect. And I think apart from that, I would also love to know a little about community and equity. So, community engagement seems to be a defining part of your leadership. Can you share an example of how community partnership has directly shaped or expanded STEM opportunities for your students?
That's a very good question. One of the things that I think we've developed a partnership with our local middle schools,
Okay.
which is our feeder patterns, as well as the local high school, where, as I mentioned earlier, it has become a hub for elementary schools and middle schools in the area to not only be on their campus, but to engage in the scrimmages of the Bex IQs once a month. Um, I've done work with our local university, Cal State University Northridge. They have an urban studies department. We've had them do we call it, basically we've had interactions with them. That's something I want to build upon. We are a very diverse school. So we have our number one students are we call local community schools. However, we have several students that are outside of the area. We have probably one of the most diverse small schools in the area. African American, white. We're getting a lot of Eastern European students because for various reasons. Filipino, Chinese. Again, it's just we have a very diverse population. We have about 40 English students that are learning English as a second language. Also, we are an inclusion school, so we do not separate them. They are part of the general education program, and then based on their IEP, provide them with the services so they can be successful.
And that is incredible, the fact that you are kind of accommodating all diversity or like all diversity in students. We love that. I would also love to know how is it that you are accommodating students who are differently abled? Are there any separate facilities for them, or like how does that go?
Well, okay. For our English learners, per the requirements, they have we call designated English supports throughout the school day. This could be everything from designated English language development to integrated English language development to provide them the scaffolding so they can be successful, from sentence stems to graphic organizers to authentic feedback on their student work. We really, if they wish to participate, we do not disclude anyone that wishes to participate. Now, sometimes we have to adjust their criteria based and accommodate as defined in their either 504 or IEP. But everyone, as an inclusion school, we have no pull out, we have push in, which means we have either special ed teachers and or assistants go through to provide them the support they need so they can accommodate their needs as defined in the IEPs.
And that is really incredible, and I'm really happy to listen to that. So, as for the last question from my end,
Yes.
when it comes to implementing new programs or innovations, how do decisions typically usually work in a large district like LAUSD? And what does that balance look like between you and like if you can decide at a school level and what comes from the district leadership?
Well, that's a very good question. Every so often, they develop what we call an IOC, basically guidelines of how to implement up to a program.
Okay.
If a school site is interested in participating, we usually submit an interest to participate, following the guidelines as dictated from downtown. And then many times they will have some funding along with it, not always enough. So I'm always looking out for other ways to supplement or complement the funding. One activity, one accommodation is we were able to get a small grant from Cal State University Northridge on some of our technology innovations. So basically, it comes down from the district, the offices, and there are certain criteria that we would need to fulfill so that we can, including evidence, because what they don't want to do is have you sign up, give you the funding, and nothing happens because of that. So one of the closing part of the loops is making sure we have evidence, including agendas or photo evidence or a pre-test and post-test, so that they can prove that the funds are being legitimately used to enhance student engagement.
That's incredible. So that are all the questions that I had from my end. We have a little segment where we ask the previous leader that we've had a podcast with to share a question for the one that we're doing right now. So the question that has come up for you is that what would your teenage self think about who you are and what you do right now?
Can you say it one more time?
Okay, so the question that has come up for you is what would your teenage self think about who you are right now and what you do?
What do I think about myself right now and what do I do? Like all assignments, we have those good days and bad days. I try to maintain a positive attitude. If I don't advocate for the students at the school site, then I don't know if anyone else will. If I'm not out trying to find grants or possibilities to these enrichment programs, that's to me what makes school interesting. Yes, we are measured on how the school performance is in English language arts and mathematics, science. We have measured by the parent and community surveys. We are measured in attendance. But if you go to a school and you're interested and you want to go every day because you're engaged and you know, hey, today I'm going to do something I really enjoy, that's motivates you to come when you may not want to come otherwise.
And that is such a wonderful perspective to have. Just a follow-up question. If I were to ask the teenage David right now about what he thought of you right now, like in 2025, what would he tell me? The teenage David, what would he tell me?
At school or right now?
No, like if I were to ask your teenage self about what you do right now, what would he think about that?
That there's no way in heck that I would be doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Because growing up, I grew up in Southwest Ohio on a farm.
Okay.
And I thought my career path would be in that direction. When I went to Ohio State, I still majored in that area. So if I asked 13-year-old, so imagine 30 or 40 years later, you'd be doing this. I'd be going, what did you drink today? Because that's not realistic.
That is so incredible. And yeah, I think that is pretty much the end of this podcast. I think I had a lot of fun listening to you. And I think so will our listeners. Yeah, thank you so much for taking out the time and being here today.